How is an excise tax different from a sales tax? 1 says an excise tax is not deductible. 2 says an excise tax applies only to imported goods. 3 says an excise tax applies to specific products. And 4 says an excise tax is an indirect tax. So excise tax, the first part of this question is understanding what is an excise tax and what is a sales tax. An excise tax is a tax that government imposes on specific products, like, for example, a tax on cigarettes or a tax on alcohol, where the government says that this is a good we want people to buy less of, so we will tax it at a higher rate than other goods. And so it's meant to discourage the consumption of these goods. This is different from a sales tax, which is just applied to anything that you buy in a certain state, where you buy a food item, you get charged sales tax. You buy a piece of clothing, you get charged sales tax. And so the main difference is that sales tax applies to all goods, and excise tax applies to certain goods that government wants to discourage the consumption of. 1 says that an excise tax is not deductible. I'm not sure if an excise tax is deductible or not, but I don't think that's the main difference between an excise tax and a sales tax. 2 says an excise tax applies only to imported goods. They're confusing that with a tariff, not an excise tax. An excise tax for number 3 says applies to specific products. This is true, and that's going to be one of the main distinguishing factors, so that's a good answer choice for sure. And 4 says an excise tax is an indirect tax, and an excise tax is an explicit tax. It's very much a direct tax on specific goods. So 3 is going to be the best answer here. An excise tax is different from a sales tax because an excise tax applies to specific products. Let's take a look at what the previous tutor said. They also chose 3. And they said that a conventional sales tax is a type of tax that is levied by the governing body on the sale of a good to its final user. It is imposed every time the good is sold in retail. An excise tax, on the other hand, is an indirect tax imposed on a few specific goods and or services that are pre-listed. Excise taxes are paid by the producer of the good or services, and hence the incidence of the tax is transferred by the producer to the consumer. Sales tax is paid at the time of purchase and can also be levied directly on the consumer. A value-added tax is an example of a sales tax. Excise duties are levied on tobacco, fuel, alcoholic products, to name a few. And so, yeah, just to clarify, the primary difference between an excise tax and a sales tax is that an excise tax is a targeted tax meant to discourage the consumption of certain goods, whereas a sales tax applies to all retail goods. So yep, the solution is still correct. We just wanted to clarify that, and we can move on to the next question.